Well, welcome back to Your Travel with Olivia. Thank you so much for joining me here again today. How many of you have been on a flight where this has happened or you've encountered something like this? Unruly passengers are on the rise right now.
And now the FAA saying it's received nearly 4,500 reports of unruly passengers.
And there's any number of reasons why this is happening, but the number one reason is anti-maskers. For whatever reason, they don't want to put their mask on.
Ma'am, I'm speaking to you. You have to wear your mask the whole entire flight. If you're unable to do so, you will be removed from the flight.
And the rule is right now, from the time that you enter the airport until you leave the airport at your destination, you have to wear a mask. There are some exceptions to this, of course.
Be prepared to dip and sip when you're eating and drinking in the airport or on the plane. That means dip your mask quickly, take a sip or a bite, and then replace it again.
For the safety of all your passengers, as well as the safety of all the crew members as well. And usually, the underlying cause of this is alcohol. There is a direct correlation with those who drink and those who really want to stand their ground. 9 times out of 10, they have been drinking and they are intoxicated. And so for this reason, this is why some of the airlines have banned serving alcohol right now. So how do you feel about alcohol not being served on a flight? Me, personally, for the most part, flights are 3 to 8 hours? Who can't go without a drink for 3 to 8 hours? Most of us can. Nothing different than, remember when you used to be able to smoke on a plane and you can't smoke on a plane now? There was an upheaval about that too. But guess what? People don't smoke on a plane. They get through the 8 hours without their cigarette and they do just fine. So if they could do it for that, they can do it for this as well. So I'm actually in agreement with banning alcohol. So how do you feel about traveling right now? Knowing that the incidence of abusive and disruptive passengers is on the rise, how does that make you feel about your own safety? How does it make you feel of having to encounter something like this on your next flight? What is it that we can do as passengers if this was to happen to us? The number one rule is to stay out of it because the crew members are trained in de-escalating these kind of situations. They know how to bring these passengers down and control the situation. However, if you happen to be directly involved with this disruptive passenger, then try and draw attention to them as quickly as possible, either by alerting the crew member or another passenger, some way so that it either one, embarrasses them so that they can stop doing it, or two, that somebody else can come to your aid and help to apprehend them or to help, again, quieten them down and hopefully smooth things over. However, there are a few things that these unruly passengers need to keep in mind before they start acting out like this. Number one, when you start acting out like this, don't forget everybody has a phone and they will be taping you. And when that thing gets on social media and it goes viral, well, in some cases, you might be putting your family, your profession, your community in jeopardy. All for what?
Associate Professor of Sociology at Penn State University.
So that's something that they need to keep in mind when they decide that they're going to make a stand. Not to mention the hefty fine, up to $37,000 for any incidents where you're putting the risk of safety to any of the crew members or passengers. If you have to be apprehended and police are called in, and in some cases imprisonment. With more of these incidences being reported and being put out on social media and the shame that comes with it, as well as the fine and the possible imprisonment, hopefully the incidences of this will start to go down. Because in most cases, these people are usually law-abiding citizens. And for whatever reason, they decided to take a stand and in a negative way, and it is not going to work out for them. So how do you feel about traveling today? Leave your comment down below. It'll be so interesting to see if you've encountered anything like this, or how do you feel about traveling in the future. If this is your first time visiting this channel, don't forget, I'm here all the time bringing you any news and anything that has to do with travel. So consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button that's down below. And don't forget, give this video a thumbs up because that really helps this channel to grow. Always a pleasure to be here, always a pleasure to chat with you guys, and until next week and in the next video, adios and have yourself a wonderful week and stay safe. Bye-bye.